Hi guys, March 18th. Good morning from Europe. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Piotr here. This is the post-London Open market update. Let's have a look what we have. There was an attempt to the squeeze we discussed yesterday, but unfortunately it didn't materialize, and overnight during the Tokyo session, especially when we talk about the US indices, when we talk about the oil, the risk of is back, and is back in a good fashion. Let's start with the oil, because oil is doing incredible things. I mean, especially bears breaking down through my final target, right? If you remember, at the beginning of the year, towards the end of the previous year, we are discussing, and even we have the line here. I didn't cancel these lines, right? When we were discussing this scenario, how I see the possible move to the downside, and then how I see the possible bounces, and the bounce really didn't materialize yet, to be honest with you, especially when it comes to the previous week bounce. It was very, very weak. We just got back towards somewhere towards 35, right? So nothing really extraordinary, nothing super fancy, and the sell-off is continue, and some traders who are watching oil every day, some more experienced oil traders than me, because when it comes to the oil, well, to be honest with you, frankly, I can't say I'm an experienced trader. I'm talking about the people from the pit. So 17 cannot be ruled out. But again, guys, I would be very careful, because basically what we have here, right, if we are going to manage get the weekly close, 3 witches approaching, if we are going to get the weekly close back above the monthly levels, right, because the red line represents also monthly levels, then finally one of those bounces on the oil could take place. Let's have a look what we have from short term continuation to the downside when it comes to the daily, intraday chart, and that's where the things are worth to watch when it comes to eventually things related to the possible bounce. I would say watching this channel right from the perspective of the squeeze, that could be good idea. I'm not saying that we have to trade the long side. What I'm saying that when the squeeze will come, when the squeeze, I can do this that way. When the squeeze will come, it might be as furious as the move to the downside, right? So be extremely careful, and of course there's no reason to try to chase oil prices to the downside. I'm going to watch carefully. If there is any intraday opportunity, of course I will try to take the advantage of that. Don't forget that you can monitor my trades, what I'm doing, all strategies at one account. You can monitor, the link is in the description. So when it comes to the oil, well, retest of, from the intraday perspective, right? Retest of the levels above 30 could be the name of the game. We have, if you like to visualize something, right? So we have something like this, some bounce, and eventually gap down towards 17, cannot be ruled out. And well, you don't wanna, from the medium term perspective, you don't wanna catch this falling knife. A little bit different story when you can do your approach from the intraday perspective, when you can monitor with low exposure and tight stops. You can try to navigate, and you can try to monitor, and you know, once it's something against you, quickly cut the position. The second thing I want to discuss is DAX, because similar to oil, the DAX also is visiting the levels we haven't seen for quite a while. So as you can see, the previous week low on the DAX, the previous week low over here, that was nothing else, that reaction at some important levels from the weekly chart, right, based on the price action. This week, for now, looks like market took out the stops, starting to build some lower shadows, right? I've been talking yesterday that maybe there is a preparation to have some kind of the short squeeze. Well, we saw positive signs yesterday during the US session, but after hours the price action was poor. But anyway, from the intraday perspective, taking into the consideration where we are, some kind of the attempt to build the consolidation, right? What I don't like here is this stop count to the upside. It's telling me that we might see some pain to the downside, right? A little bit more pain to the downside. But overall, the bounce from here and cannot be ruled out. And what I would target in that case, right? The broken over under here been tested already, okay, here. So I wouldn't rule it out, attempt to get back some 10% to the upside, trying to target levels towards 9,600, 9,800, maybe even 10,000 with the ugly short squeeze. Again, 3 reaches. I'm going to watch this very carefully. So what I would like to see here on the 30-minute chart, when the US guys will open, right? Because, well, again, some circuit breakers were triggered. At some point, if I'm going to get around the low, this type of the candle, if I can visualize this that way, I can try to, from the intraday perspective, I already have tiny exposure. We'll see what's going to happen on the DAX as well. And finally, what is very we have to discuss FX. What is very interesting, it's how dollar yen is behaving. All right, how the dollar yen is behaving. And all right, we have a tiny pullback right now, but overall we already make quite nice bounce, right? Don't forget, we were discussing dollar yen, this 108.65.85, and eventually then again higher towards even 110, right? But with all those negativity, after the huge bounce, we are right now rather holding upper levels of that bounce, right? Compared to others. So that's very interesting how the dollar yen behave, because that's telling us a little bit of the story, in my opinion, when it comes to the yen. It's strong, but it's not that strong. I think there is some worries related to the Olympic game, because basically the Olympic game and everything around that was supposed to be, as a support to the struggling Japanese economy. And if we are going to postpone, the Japanese guys, they're trying to all the best. I've heard even that the case is that they are not announcing all the coronavirus numbers. But at the end, the sportsmen are gonna decide if they want to risk right their health and life. And you know what? The Summer Olympic game haven't been haven't been played once. And guess what? It was 1940, and it was supposed to be in Tokyo, but because of the World War II, of course, it was postponed. It was in Japan. So, well, sometimes history likes to repeat itself. We will see. Guys, be careful. I wouldn't say I'm all in trying to catch falling knives. Watching carefully, some kind of the 3 witches short squeeze might take place. So be careful out there. I'm going to get back to you with another update. Here we discuss oil, DAX and dollar yen. Take care. Have a great rest of the London session and see you around.